Hello everyone and welcome to Purple Rose Crafts. Today we're going to be making this awesome daisy square for our granny square blanket that we've been talking about over the last couple of weeks. We're going to make this lovely circle and then we're going to enclose it in our square. So today we're going to be using our loops and threads in the Snuggly Wuggly. It's the big ball that we were using before, same as we have been using in the last couple of videos. It's a 3 on the weight scale and our 3.5mm crochet hook. All right, so to get started here, I have just started with our magic loop and I have done 2 chains and then double crocheted 11 double crochets into that circle and then cinched it up, a slip stitch to the first section of chains to close up the circle. All right, and now we're going to tie on our white to make our flower petals here, and we're going to continue. We're going to actually do the blue, the teal color that I just showed you for the purple section here, just to kind of keep things in contrast with the other colors of our blanket already. So we're going to tie on our white as we have done in the past as well. I'm just tying a single knot over the loop that was from the slip stitch and pull it tight and down tight to the slip stitch. Now I'm going to insert my hook again, pull my tail, which this would normally be connected to a ball, but I cut it off already. And now we're going to switch over to doing our white. So we're going to hold our yellow tight, chain 1, and pull our yellow down so we can no longer see that loop. And now we're going to chain 2 more. So that initial chain that we used to change colors is not counted as a double crochet or as a stitch in this design, okay? And now we're going to start with our puff stitches, which we have not done yet on the channel. So we're going to start with our 2 chains as a double crochet. Now we're going to do 1 puff stitch into each of the stitches around the circle because a puff stitch is actually quite a bit larger than just a double crochet width-wise. So we're going to actually just do 1 in each stitch. All right, so to start our puff stitch, we're going to start with our chain 2 here to make it tall. And now we're going to yarn over our hook, insert it down through both loops of the stitch below, catch our yarn, pull up, and keep this a little bit loose, okay? We don't want it to be tight here. And we're gonna yarn over again, down through the same spot, catch our yarn again, draw up a second. So now we have 5 loops on our hook. We're going to do this 2 more times. So yarn over, down through again, the same spot, catch our yarn, draw up. So now we have 7 on our hook and we're going to do it 1 more time. So yarn over, down through, catch the yarn. And now we have 9 loops on our hook. We want to keep that nice and tall here. Yarn over. Okay, now draw through all of those loops. You might have to wiggle your hook a little bit to kind of get it to go through. That's fine. And so now we have our puff stitch, and to close it off so it doesn't look so wide here at the top, we're going to chain. Okay, and that one you can pull tight. All right, so there's our puff stitch. And let's do that 1 more time. We're going to yarn over, down through the next stitch, through both loops from the row below, draw up 1, okay, yarn over, down through the same hole, yarn over our hook, catch our hook, our yarn, pull up 2, so now we have 5, yarn over, down through, draw up, so now we have 7, and we want a yarn over 1 more time. And now we're going to have 9 loops on our hook. We want to draw up our stitch 4 times to give us a nice full puff stitch. Yarn over and pull through all the loops on the hook and chain to close it. All right, there's our 2 puff stitches. Zoom in on those. So there's our 2 puff stitches, and let's do it one more time nice and slow, and then we'll go ahead and finish the row. All right, so yarn over, down through both loops of the stitch, below, draw up 1, yarn over, draw up 2, so now we have 5 on our hook, yarn over, draw up 3, that makes 7, yarn over, draw up a last 1, and yarn over and draw through all of the loops on the hook and chain to close. So there's our 3 lovely puff stitches to make our flower petal pattern. So now we're going to go ahead and finish off the row. All right, so now we're at the end of the row. I did do an extra, my final puff stitch over the slip stitch from the row below, just to give it that nice finished look about the end of the row. I wanted it to be nice and tight, and I didn't want to see a lot of curling happening. So you almost can't even see the chains now at this point, once we slip stitch to the top of the first puff stitch. So there's our second row. Now we're going to switch over and tie on our teal to finish off and square ourselves off to finish the row. Now in this case, I'm just going to tie on the blue, but I'm not going to cut off the white because we're going to use it to finish off the outside of the square. So for this one, I'm not going to cut it off. I'll show you how to carry it along so you can barely see it from the front of your work. All right, so we're tying on the blue, teal here. All right, insert our hook, tighten up our white, and switch over to the blue. All right, so there we go. So in our first chain, what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually include our white. So I'm gonna actually bring it to the front. So what I did was actually brought it over top of the blue and then chained like that. So now it's actually caught in the chain, but we're not actually gonna be able to see it. So if I bring it back to the back again, it's gone. You can't actually see it, but it is held up our chain row. So now I'm gonna bring it across the back of our chains, again over my hook, and chain it again. Okay, to get us to our double crochet that we want for the corner of the next row. Okay, so now we're gonna let our white go. We're not gonna worry about it now till we get to the end of the row. We're gonna actually put this into a corner. We've got 2 chains here that we're working on the teal, and we're going to start, this is gonna be basically the end of our corner. So we're gonna finish with a half double crochet. So half double crochet through the first chain there, single crochet across the next 3 stitches. So this is our puff stitch top, then we've got our chain top, and then we have our puff stitch is the next one. Okay, so we're gonna catch just the top 2 loops there of the chain. We don't want to actually catch the bottom one in this case. And then across the top of the puff stitch. There is our 3. All right, and then we're gonna start our next corner. So in order to start the next corner, we're gonna do half double crochet first into that first stitch. And then double crochet into the next one. And now we're gonna do our the rest of our corner. Okay, so to finish our corner, we have a half double crochet. Now we have started as double crochet here, but we're going to 3 double crochets into that stitch, and then a chain 1, and then 3 more double crochets to give us our corner. Okay, so there's our corner. And now we're going to finish with a half double crochet and 3 singles. Half double, and then 3 singles across the side of the square. All right, so that's our corner and two sides. All right, so we're gonna continue working our corners and our sides in this fashion. So the repeat starts at the single crochet. So it's 3 single crochets, a half double in the next stitch, 3 doubles, chain 3 doubles in the next, all in the next stitch, half double in the next stitch, and then that's where our repeat starts again, 3 single crochets. Okay, all right, let's continue. So half double crochet in the next, and then our next double crochet starts here. This is our corner. So 3 doubles, 2, 3, a chain 1, 3 more doubles, and then a half double and 3 singles. All right, so we're gonna finish off our last 2 corners there. If you need to, go back and rewatch the beginning of this row if you are unsure about the corners that we've done there. All right, so here we are, end of the row, and we've just finished with our 3 double crochets, chain 3 double crochets, and because we chained 2 at the beginning, that counts as our half double. So now we're gonna just slip stitch to the top of those chains and close up our row. So if we turn our work over, we're looking at all of our tails that we're going to have to weave in here, but what we want to actually look at is the white. So we can't actually see that it's being drawn up through the stitches, and once everything's weaved in, you won't even see it. So we're going to continue working in the exact same fashion that we did in the first teal row, and we're going to start by putting our white over our back, our long tail of the yarn. So we want it to be like between the hook and the yarn that we're going to use. We're going to chain 1 and then we're going to come back and put it back across into the front. So it's going to be worked into both of those 2 chains here. And now we can just put it down and out of the way. Okay, so now it's inside the 2 chains that we've just made. And so now we're going to carry it up our row, but we won't be able to see it. So you can kind of see it there, but by the time we're finished the row, you won't see it anymore. All right, so basically this row now is going to be a double stitch row, or double crochet row. And so we're going to just double crochet straight across till we get to the corner. And then we're going to make our corners exactly the same as we did for the previous row. So 3 double crochets, chain 3 double crochets. All right, nice and easy for this final row. And as many of you know, if you've watched my previous videos, I like to chain or double crochet through the back loop to give us that nice clean line that we're seeing across our stitches. So we're going to continue doing that as well. Now we're going to jump over into the corner, do 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets. And then we're going to finish with our white row, which is exactly the same as this blue one. And we're going to finish off our square. All right, so there we have our finished second row of blue, kind of giving us a little bit more squared off version, and our daisy there in the center. All right, so now we're going to switch back to our white yarn, which we've carried up the back. Now we're going to finish with 1 row of white double crochet around. Honestly, this row is exactly the same as the blue row. You're gonna go double crochets all the way across, 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets in the corner, and then continue around the square. So we're gonna start by looping up our white onto our hook, cinch down our blue, which we can now cut off, and double crochet, or sorry, chain 2. And now we're gonna just double crochet across the row. So basically the exact same row as the blue one, and this is gonna finish off our nice 4-inch square that we've been doing for our granny squares. This is it for this video. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below and the bell to be notified of future videos. We're gonna continue along with our granny squares for the next little while, just while I kind of get all the ideas of granny squares out of my head and get them down into crochet form. Now soon, because we're actually getting quite a few squares at this point, we're going to also talk about how to attach them together, and we're going to talk about different methods for this. Now there's going to be a whole bunch of different methods out there, from just slip stitching the 2 sides of the squares together to you know, a blanket stitch, which is done kind of in between the stitches and you actually can't see it, to a, you know, double crocheting each side of the stitch or of the square together. So it just depends on really what you're looking for as far as attaching them together. So you know, hit that subscribe button, because we're going to be continuing along in this journey of our granny squares, and if you don't already know, attaching them together is just you know, the best of, really the best part, because it really does start to turn into a blanket at that point. And then once we finish that, we're going to actually talk as well about how to do a border. So what do we do with a granny square border, or what do we do with a regular blanket border? So and what kind of options are out there. So that's what's coming up on the channel. We will also, of course, be interspersing these videos with our knitting videos. And probably eventually we'll do a knit along as well for the squares. We'll end up knitting some squares to make ourselves a knitted blanket as well. But for now, we're gonna just do the knit along, or a crochet along with our crochet granny squares. So if you have any ideas for granny squares, link them in the description below, or sorry, in the comments. Link them in the comments, and I will have a look and see if it's a possibility to feature on the channel as well. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, and we will see you in the next video. Thanks so much.